Hello and welcome to another knitting pod. I am Lena. Thank you for being here today. I'm sorry if you're a regular viewer. I missed last week, which does not happen often. But I was just so overwhelmed and exhausted that I gave myself a break and just took that one extra thing off my plate. But I'm really excited to be sitting down with you guys today. I have so much to share with you. Anytime I miss a week, there's always more to share the next week. So let's just jump right in. You can see that I have a finished object today. It's not 100% finished because I haven't put the buttons on yet. However, let's get talking and we'll talk about the buttons towards the end since that is the logical order of things. This is the Polka Dot Cardi by Midori Hirose, and y'all, I love it so much. It's so much like, okay, when I started this, it was really on a whim because it's so outside of my traditional knitting style. I do not knit with bulky yarn and big needles. It's just something that I've never really enjoyed before. But when I saw this sweater, I think it was La Bien-Aimée had knit a version of this in a very different gauge, and it just piqued my interest. And then I went over to the regular page on Ravelry and absolutely fell in love with the bulky version. So I just felt super compelled to make it, even though I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy the process. And I also wasn't sure what the end product was going to look like because the pictures to me aren't super clear, which is funny because there are so many pictures, but I didn't get a sense of what it would look like on me. So all that to say, it was kind of on a whim, and I've ended up just being so obsessed with it. Let's start with the yarn, and my thoughts are not organized. I have no notes. I'm just jumping in. So forgive me if it doesn't come out as smoothly as I would like it to. The yarn I used is Sandnes Garn in this base called Kos, K-O-S. The colorway is light pistachio, and it is held double and knit on very large needles. I'm obsessed with the fabric it made. It is everything I had hoped it would be. It is a frothy, thick yarn that is created, and that frothy lightness keeps the bulky yarn from feeling clunky or looking handmade. It just, I don't know. I don't think you can really capture it on camera. Well, maybe a little. Do you see how like there's the halo? So I think I might have said this last time we talked about this. It gives the impression of mohair held quadruple, except you're not having to have that fussy level of yarn. Do you know what I mean? It is, hold on, let me just take a sip of water. Sorry. So the yarn held double worked out so perfectly. I was torn between two Sandnes Garn bases, and I'm really glad I went with this one. However, I like it so much that I'm really looking forward to trying out the other one, which is, I think it's called Borstet Alpaca or something like that. But it is also worsted weight yarn, and I will definitely be trying it out. But I loved this coast so much. I have been wearing it because it's been so cold here in Colorado. I have been wearing it with a long sleeve piece under it. So I cannot report if it's itchy on my skin because I've been wearing it all the time. Like I'll put it on over my pajamas. I'll put it on over a long sleeve t-shirt like this. I even wore it the other day. My daughter really wanted this Valentine's Day sweatshirt and they didn't have it at Target, so I ordered it from Target online. For some reason they sent me two, and I honestly have no idea if they even charged me for two or what, but I didn't have time to deal with returning it. So I thought it was super cute. It's like a baby pink hoodie, cropped hoodie, and it has a picture of Snoopy on it with a big heart. So it's like a cute Valentine's Day sweatshirt. So I wore it the other day because it was so cozy and it was so cold. And it's like a bulky sweatshirt, but I put this on top of it because I was going to study somewhere, but it's always really cold. And it looked so cute. And you can layer this on top of stuff because it is fairly oversized. So I cannot tell you if this yarn is super itchy. If you were to hold it single and make just like a sweatshirt or a sweater, kind of sweatshirt sweater, but it is incredibly lovely layered, and it's so warm, but it's not too warm. And the fact that you've got these big polka dot holes, it just keeps it from being like a stuffy piece. Like I said, I wasn't sure what was going to happen when I knit this, but I love it. I love it so much. It is now, it has up there with the book club cardigan. That's how I feel about this one. And I have to tell you guys, I appreciate her attention to detail so much. She puts short rows in a lot of places. And a lot of times I'm just one of those people, because I am not super curvy. I'm a pretty flat buck, like I have broad shoulders. I don't have a big bust or anything. I just am kind of one dimensional. I've never known if short rows like do anything for me. But when I compare this cardigan that has short rows both in the sleeves and along the back neckline, and how well it fits and how well it drapes on the body, like it just looks so custom. Whereas the what's that other cardigan I made? The heirloom quilt cardigan, where you are making a bunch of squares and then you're seaming them together. And she did not put any short rows in that. And I understand to some extent why, because its squares seam together. However, I do feel like if she had tried to insert, once you seam all those together, she could have somehow in a creative way added short rows before you pick up stitches for the collar. That cardigan would have been so much more well loved by me, because as it is now, it just doesn't fit well. And the back like rises up, and so you're constantly having to fuss with it so that it doesn't look weird while it's worn. Because I don't know if you're catching what I'm saying, but like the bottom lifts up because it has no short rows to accommodate your body. And so even though it's so beautiful and so much effort was put into it, it slips off the shoulders. It doesn't fit beautifully. This, on the other hand, could go down the same road because it's a very oversized cardigan, and I have not put buttons on it yet, but it just stays on the body perfectly. It doesn't slip off the shoulders. It doesn't rise up on the butt. Like, it's just perfect. And honestly, I didn't mean to talk about the heirloom quilt cardigan this much, but I don't even have it to show you. But I assume you guys know what I'm talking about because it was a big pattern last year or whenever it came out. But I believe that pattern was something like $12. And to me, that is a really expensive price. And in that case, I was very disappointed that she hadn't gone the extra mile to somehow work short row shaping into it to make that cardigan fit better and make it more wearable, especially with the amount of labor that goes into a piece like that. It's a real bummer when it doesn't turn out to look as good on a body as it does just like on the ground, like laying flat. Did not mean to talk about that. That is neither here nor there, but I did want to tell you how big of a difference it has made in the way this wears and fits on the body, and what a delight it is to wear a piece when you can function in your life. Like, I can walk in my house with my arms down without it just falling all off my body, which if you go back and watch my roundup of all the cardigans I've ever knit, this was an issue in so many cardigans. They don't stay up well. I had the same issue with another cardigan that I love. What's it called? The Big Cozy Cardi by Drea Renee Knits. has the same problem. So cute, so elegant, so pretty, but so impractical because it doesn't stay up. So I am obsessed with this. If you remember when I started this, I had bought some like inexpensive acrylic yarn in a beautiful pink color in an attempt to maybe use that and make one. And I didn't. And I'm actually thinking about doing it now because I love this cardigan and I would totally do it again because it was such a quick knit. When you have really big needles, something that I dread always is the button band. This button band went by in a blink, both to pick up the stitches and to knit it, because when the stitches are this big, it's so easy to pick up stitches and like make sure you've picked them up evenly. Anyway, I loved the process of this and I love the outcome. Now, one thing, if we're going to be hypercritical, or not hypercritical, but just like making an accurate pros and cons list about this, one thing I will say is because the yarn is so bulky, how you make these eyelets is like with yarn overs and then knit two together and SSK on either side. And you can like those decreases are more apparent because the yarn is bulky. And it doesn't bother me. I just love this piece so much, but it's not as smooth as it would be if it was like a fingering weight or even like a DK held single. This is double, so you can really see those decreases. Maybe that doesn't bother you, maybe it does, but it's just something to be aware of. I'm going to try to take a picture standing up so you can see the back and see how it fits. No promises. So if that exists, it'll be here, but if it doesn't, I'm sorry. My bandwidth right now is very low for editing and stuff, and I'm also not feeling super hot this morning, so I'm a little tired. Anyway, so if I don't do that, I promise there will be a day where I show you the back, because the back has all these polka dots. So to wrap up on this, I'm obsessed. I love it so much. I will say two more things, and let's talk about the buttons real quick. I have not sewn on the buttons yet because she does a button hole method that I've never encountered before. You don't do the buttonholes while you're knitting the button band. It's like a afterthought buttonhole, if you will. And I was so excited to have this that I didn't do it before I wove in all the ends and stuff. And because it fits so well, like it doesn't fall off the shoulders, honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the buttons because I like it better open. It actually doesn't have as much positive ease as I thought it was going to have. I made so there's, I think, 4 kid sizes and then maybe 4 adult sizes. The smallest adult size is double XS, double extra small, extra small. That's what it's called. That's the size I made. I somehow expected it to be like enormous, which is why I wasn't sure I was going to love it, but it fits so perfectly. It's like the perfect amount of ease. It's not clownishly big so that it's impractical. It's like the perfect amount of ease. I love positive ease. I'm a positive ease kind of gal. And this is just like perfect. It's not immensely oversized. But, and I will say, my daughter tried it on, who she is shooting up, y'all. It's freaking me out. She's only 2 inches shorter than me. So she's about 5'1", but very slight, right? She's only 11. She's tall and thin. But she tried this on and oh my gosh, you guys, it looked so cute on her because it was a lot more oversized, and that made me want to make another one in the size above. So maybe I'll use that pink acrylic yarn to do that, because why not? I have that pink acrylic yarn. I really loved making this, and I would totally wear that pink color all the time because it's this bubblegum pink that I just love. And I have the yarn, so why not? Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, all that to say, highly recommend this. And I want to show you the buttons I did purchase for this. These are from Wandering Flock. I have some really fun stuff to show you in a minute, but you'll have to be patient and see the buttons that I got for this. So this is the button I got, the Mother of Pearl. Is it not so perfect? Like, let's just hold it up. Look how perfect. Maybe I'll put them on just for the look of these buttons because it's just too cute. I really was disappointed because they had buttons on their website, Wandering Flock, that were these like holographic buttons. So they had the same iridescence, but they were, you know what I'm talking about? Like that material it's like plastic, but it's like it's holographic. I don't know how to describe it. And I'm trying to, like, I don't have an example of it. But anyway, sometimes you see like makeup pouches or, you know, that brand, I think it's called Black Pearl Magic. She makes like project bags and stuff, and she uses that iridescent holographic material. That's how those buttons were, but they didn't have 4 in this size, like the largest size. So I didn't get them, but I was so bummed. They were amazing. In the future, I want to use them for something, but I don't know what to do about these. I love the buttons. I don't really think I'll use them, but will they be cute anyway? Also, time is such an issue for me right now that, like, am I going to take the time to sew these on right now? I don't know. Maybe I'll just save them for another project. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But I have to tell you, it's really nice to have a cardigan that fits without having to always button it. And because this is a piece that I will definitely be layering, I feel like I don't think I would actually wear it with the buttons closed very often. I don't know. This has definitely replaced the other cardigan I knit ages ago that pilled like hell. It was the home cardigan, and I always wear it at home because it's so cozy and so warm, but it is hideous. It looks like I picked it up out of a dumpster. That's what it looks like. But it's so comfortable, and I always put it on over my pajamas at night. And now I've been doing that with this. However, I'm scared if it's gonna pill, but it doesn't seem to have really so far. And I've been wearing it a lot. So also with fuzzy yarn, to me, pilling, it does not look as aggressive. And I've been talking about this for 20 minutes now, but I have to say one more thing. I don't have many pieces of knitwear that every time I wear them, my husband's like, oh, I love that. It looks so cute on you. Every time I wear this and I walk in the room, he's like, oh, it's so cute. Like, it's so fluffy and soft. And he always wants to hug me. And he's like, I love the color. It looks like pistachio ice cream. So I just think this is like an unexpected winner that's getting no hype out in the world. So if you like it, knit it. I also feel like the light in here has changed all of a sudden, and it's very blurry looking on my camera, but I hope you can see well. I'm having to sit in my guest room right now because my husband's on a call and my daughter's home because they have a holiday, and this is the only space I could find peace and quiet. And I figured you'd be okay with it if it meant we got to hang out today. Okay, enough about the big polka dot cardigan, sadly, but it's so cozy. I wish you could like reach through here and give me a hug right now. For many reasons, I could really use a hug right now, but it's so soft. We're gonna stop talking about it. Okay. Let me show you the sock I cast on. I finished the yellow hat. I did not bring it in here to show you today because we have a lot to talk about and I'm gonna save it. So that's called good marketing. Just kidding. I didn't have the energy to talk about it today. It doesn't go with this cardigan, so I didn't want to wear it, but you'll have to come back next week to find out how that bad egg beanie turned out. It'll be worth it. Okay. After I finished that though, my point in talking about it was that I didn't have a project on the go. and I desperately needed one because my daughter had an interminable volleyball tournament last Sunday where we left the house at 6:30 and we didn't get back home till 5:30. Volleyball is a doozy, you guys. It tried every aspect of my being in so many ways. We don't have to talk about it because you're probably like, why are we talking about volleyball? But I needed a project, and I'm so glad I took one because I didn't realize the day was going to be that long. It was so nice to have a travel project that was a hat as opposed to socks that I have been doing more regularly. It's just makes, then when you come back to socks, it's more fun. And when you go back to hats, that's more fun. I just like kind of keeping it fresh and toggling between them. And I use them both so much. Some people don't wear hats very much. I do. I find them to be super handy because they are warm and they mask dirty hair really well for me. Just because I get like, when I exercise and sweat, my hair starts to get worse and worse. And when I put a hat on, I can just like move on with my life. I really feel like this light is just driving me crazy. It feels really hazy, but I hope it's okay. I wanted to cast on an exciting sock rather than just like a vanilla sock. I just was craving that. And I have several sock patterns in my life. In my library, I had the Summer Lee book. So it took me days to kind of settle on one. And I was really torn. But then lately, I have been craving color. And I don't think it's surprising. I went through a phase, I believe it was like last year, that I was really trying to work with colors that were deeper and more grounded and more sophisticated. I just wanted to experiment with that, and I had so much fun doing it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's kind of like the Ghost Ranch palette is how I would just shortcut that name. Like Spin Cycle Ghost Ranch, if you are familiar, like their most popular colorway, I feel like all the colors in that, like really gorgeous fall kind of Southwest colors, beautiful, beautiful, love it. But this year, without my being conscious about it, I've just been gravitating to bright, bright colors. And I think it's because I'm busy in my own life in a new way. And there's so much going on in the world that is so heavy and really, really has impacted my emotional state. And I feel like my mind is trying to bring everything back to balance with bright colors. And I'm so here for that. Like I'm so grateful for that because there's nothing that brings me more joy than working with bright colors. And I'm at the point now where I really recognize how important the process of knitting is to me rather than the finished objects. Probably because I don't have as much time and I'm trying to become much more aware of just being in the moment rather than driving towards something. And knitting allows me to practice that in my real life. And knitting with bright colors brings me so much joy in the moment that I'm 100% here for it. I don't care about the finished object. I don't care if it looks juvenile. If someone thought that, then I really, really don't care. I love bright colors. So let me show you the sock. Enough chat. It's just so cute. It is, what is this called? I don't remember. It's in Summer Lee's book. I think it's called the Breton sock. I don't really know. Let's just say, I'll describe it. It is ribbed. Then I did a shadow wrap heel. I am not in the market for a new heel. I could care less about learning a new heel. There's so many heels in that book. It's great if you're looking for your dream heel. I have found my dream heel. Thank you, Caitlin. I'm not looking for new heels. I can do this one without thinking about it, and I really like it. Let's start at the beginning. I have never made a ribbed sock, but after my Robin beanie, which was fully ribbed, I don't mind ribbing. Again, if you can shift your perspective from how fast can I make this to how mindful can I be while I make this, you're not worried about ribbing being slower than stockinette. And I don't mind that this was slower. And honestly, I finished the top here so quickly, even with the striping. I find striping really slows me down just because there's yarn management. You're counting rows to make sure all the stripes are the same. And that's a little, it can take a minute. All right, let me talk to you about the colors. This color I have been saving and being precious with. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the bad egg, the spin cycle bad egg yarn that had been something I was obsessed with, but like was not letting myself knit with because I was saving it for the perfect project. And I had this realization that like I could get hit by a UPS truck tomorrow, which is like literally might actually be the way that I die because I feel like I'm always we're walking the dogs and there's always like a UPS truck that I'm dodging. Because one of my big dogs, she loves to attack them. So she's like pulling me into them and they're zipping by. Anyway, I really don't know how I go. Oh yeah, okay. I could die, so we got to use the yarn while we have it. This yarn my cousin got for me when she went to Alaska, and it is like local yarn that was dyed with some sort of mud that they have there, and it's such a pretty color, and it was so like had sentimental value because it's from my cousin and it was so thoughtful, and she picked the color, and it really meant a lot to me. And so I didn't know how to use it because it was a single skein. I just thought these two colors together were just glorious, perfect, meant to be together. And I was so hesitant to do it because this sock is going to be mismatched. So the second sock is going to have none of these colors ideally if I have the right yarn for it. I just feel like Punky Brewster in my life right now, and we're gonna go for the mismatched socks. So I knew that this would only take up a little bit of that yarn. However, the other sock I was thinking about making with this gorgeous mud dyed yarn is the Dumpling sock by Jessie May Designs. And it's a shorty, like a little bitty sock. So I feel like this plus that is gonna take care of most of that ball. And then I would have gotten a lot of bang for my buck out of that skein. So I felt like it was a win-win. I wasn't being precious, and I'm getting two lovely projects out of that. So that's that color. And then this color is Hedgehog Fibers. I think it's Sorry Not Sorry. And then this yellow is just Stash Yellow. I don't know what it is. This turquoise color is Lang Jewel in Bright Mint, I think. This gorgeous Kelly green is Cowgirl Blues in this like mini thing that I found somewhere locally, and I don't remember the colorway. So I have gotten a lot of happiness out of watching these colors unfold. Like I said, I don't love striping, but the result is so cute that I am going to do it anyway. I did the exact size, like the exact number of repeats as she did in the book. I think if I were to do it again, maybe I would do it longer. I don't know. I have not tried this sock on. Obviously it's ribbing, so it's stretchy. I am a little worried. Like, let me show you. See here. Normally if you like knit a shawl or a sweater with mosaic or color work, because the gauge is looser, the stitches where you're changing the colors, it's okay because they're not stretched so tight. In socks, what I have found when you do color work or striping or anything, a concern becomes that section where you switched yarns is going to be stretched, and it gapes and it creates holes, almost what look like holes, but they're really just gaps in the fabric. So I'm worried about that happening in this situation, but I'm hoping I can just use tails and close those, because like look right here on this side. Do you see what I mean right here? How there's like looseness. On this side there's not. It's just that's because that's not where that change happened. So that is one thing that I need to try on and I'm a little bit concerned about. I've had big problems with that with color work. This is not color work. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever do a color work sock. I'm not a color work person, and socks add a whole nother complication to it. So anyway, adorable. I absolutely love it. In the book, there's some really great tips about how to make your stripes look as lovely as possible. So I think there's a lot of tips and tricks in Summer Lee's book that are really worthwhile, and there's some really cute patterns in there. So if you are so inclined, I have several knitting books and I wouldn't recommend all of them, but that's one that I do think is a lovely combination of a reference book, a book of patterns, and phenomenal color inspiration. She is brilliant with colors. Somebody had asked me in a comment about like how to pick colors and stuff, and I really think you should trust your gut. Like whatever colors you are drawn to are completely perfect. Like don't, like I was telling you earlier, I was trying to convince myself to really love and fall in love with a palette that is not authentically mine. I love those colors too, but if I'm being honest, like this is more my wheelhouse, go with it, right? Like, and then try to grow that palette in interesting ways. And a lot of times what I find helpful is just really diving into how other knitters or artists use color well and kind of breaking it down. Like, what is this person, what have they done? Have they added a really grounding color? Have they elevated a bunch of pastels with a very earthy color? Like, you can really get into color and color theory, and it's fun. And that's just color is something I'm really drawn to. But Stephen West and Summer Lee are two people that I think use color in a really fun and interesting way. And you can go look at their patterns and get a lot of inspiration. So that book is just a really fun color inspiration, a place for color inspiration. So the bottom of the foot is in stockinette and the top of the foot is in ribbing. The entire top leg is in ribbing. I really feel like this is just gonna fly by, and I can't wait to have these socks because it's so cold. I wear socks all the time, not always hand knit, but these just look like they would make me really happy to wear. So that is my on the go project. The last project I want to talk to you about is a really exciting one that I'm so obsessed with. I'm like trying to rearrange here. I just cast it on this morning. Again, in keeping with this sudden urge to work with bright colors, after I finished that Bad Egg Robin beanie, I just was so in love with the neon yellow. And then my friend Jessica had knit a Sophie scarf in a neon yellow from Wandering Flock. And we were talking about that, and I love Wandering Flock. I've loved them since they emerged on the knitting scene. Their color story is, truly as close to my perfect colors as you can get. And I have used Wandering Flock. I used Mermaid Parade, the colorway Mermaid Parade, which I believe they canceled, like they don't make it anymore. I made my, what's that sweater by Joji Locatelli with it's got like sport weight bands and then a mohair lace band. I forgot what it's called. That's the only time I'd used Wandering Flock, I believe. No, I have another sweater in that. But anyway, I started looking at their website and I just fell in love with so many colors. And I just had this deep urge, like this rumbling in my spirit to cast on a shawl in Wandering Flock in a thick yarn and make like a big cozy gift to myself. And I instantly remembered Andrea Mowry's shawl that she had made or designed a couple years ago. It's called the Feel Good Shawl. It's all wandering flock and it's all brioche. And in keeping with my attempts towards a more mindful knitting life, I decided I'm not going to be put off by the fact that this is fully brioche. I'm going to lean into it. It's going to be an experiment about myself and how I react to being committed to the process and working with the beauty of certain colors that really speak to me. And I just decided to go for it. And what really made me happy was, like, I wanted it to be in these wandering flock palette colors, but I wasn't wholly committed to buying all the yarn that's necessary for this shawl from Wandering Flock. So in her original sample, she uses 5 colors in their, I think it's their DK weight. I decided I wanted to try to mix for once yarn from my stash and new yarn. You know, I'm always really mindful. If you've watched my channel, I really like to use yarn that I have because I have so much yarn. It's just, so much yarn, too much yarn. But the problem is, so many times when I fall in love with a pattern, it requires a certain yarn to really live up to the vision, and then that's how you keep procuring more yarn. But in this case, I was really excited that I was able to use 2 of the colors from yarn I have, and then I ended up buying 3 colors. So let me show you what they are. Very excited that I decided to, since we're going for pastels, and this is a worsted weight pastel, why not use this? Because I had several balls of this left after this. So I decided to make the first 2 color brioche section in these 2 colors, light pistachio and yellow. I hope these are coming across in the screen. Lighting is not my friend today. It's kind of overcast and the sun is over there, so we're not getting a whole bunch of sun. It's reading more yellow and less neon than it is in person. I think if you really if you really like this color and you want to see it more accurately, go to the Wandering Flock website. They have really good representations of their colors. But these 2 are just so pretty together. I cast it on this morning when I had like 0 time, but forced 30 minutes for myself. It's like a total baby, so you can't really see it. But what I love about what's happening is that back light pistachio literally just looks like a cloud, and then this bright yellow looks like the sun coming through, and that's really the look I want. I want that frothiness from the fuzzy yarn to really contrast with a more crisp stitch definition on that front line of stitches. We will see better next week when I have a little more fabric. It's kind of hard to tell. This garter stitch, 5-stitch kind of border goes all the way across, which I think creates an interesting frame, and it's really unique. This shawl is sort of reminding me of my Plumpy shawl by Drea Knits. The problem with that is the shawl's shape is super awkward, and I never, like, if it was just a traditional triangle, I think I would use it every single day. It's this very oblong, and it's so long that it almost touches the ground, and that's just not a shape that is great for me because I'm not that tall. This is a triangle. It's fully brioche, and I just think it's going to be like therapeutic for me because brioche creates the most spectacular fabric. And if you use a heavier weight yarn, forget it. It's like you're never leaving that shawl at home. You're taking that shawl everywhere, like Linus in his blanket. That's going to be me in this shawl. I used to wonder if brioche with thicker yarns is just overboard. No, it's not. It's just the right amount of board. So I'm really excited about having cast this on. Then the second section is 1 color brioche, and I got this gorgeous colorway. It is called Hundreds and Thousands, and I love it because it is so lightly speckled, and it's not even speckled. It has more of like little streaks that are more symmetrical than a traditional speckled yarn. I like that it's like this gorgeous shell pink as the base, and then it has their traditional like pastel neon blips in it. And this will be, like I said, one color brioche. Then the final two, it's double brioche. Not really sure what that means. Haven't gotten to that section, obviously. Haven't read ahead. It's a mystery that will be unwrapped later. I am really, really, really excited to use this. This is Melted Baby Suri. Yes, Ching Fiber, Melted Baby Suri. I fell in love with this base years ago, and I bought a lot of it randomly, and I have a lot of it. I bought this color. I don't remember what this is called. It was like a limited edition Valentine's Day color. Is it not stunning? It's just glorious. Love note, maybe? I don't remember. And I didn't have enough, and I wanted more, and I thought this was the closest thing, and it's really not. Like, this is magical in a way that this is not, but I'm going to use all of this as the final section, the background color, and then Electric Orchid is going to be the foreground color. Because it's brioche, I think I can pull this situation off with these two background colors being different. I don't know. I'll make it work. I always make it work. In brioche, it's just a little bit different because that background color really provides kind of a canvas, and then this is like the dimensional thing that sits on top. I'm obsessed with this color. This is one of my favorite shades of all time. Like if there's anything to buy ever and there are color options and this color's in it, it'll always be this color. I don't really know that it's that flattering on me. I don't think cool toned colors look that great on me, but I don't care. I love this color so much. It's so soft. It's like a kitten. That combined with the Melted Baby Suri, again, that textural contrast, that frothy cloud background is just, I love it. I'm going to try to show you all these colors together because it really is just so good. Let's see if I can pull it off, all right? Oh boy, we're balancing. Okay. Look at this. Is that not just so good? It's so balanced. It's interesting. And because I've used these two from my stash and they happen to be fluffy and speckled but not too speckled, it kind of like just comes together. This palette really came together for me in a beautiful, like, organic way, and it's really, really reflective of what I wanted it to be. I didn't overthink it. I just ordered it. It's been an incredibly hectic year so far. So much. It's just like, it's so overwhelming, and I just felt like normally I would not let myself buy new yarn this early in the year, and I would use stash and stuff, but I just felt like I really wanted to give myself a treat because it's just been crazy, and I'm really proud of myself for making my life work right now, and I just feel like I deserved a treat and I was going to give it to myself. And the fact that I was able to mix stash yarn with it was just kind of a bonus. Okay. As evidence that I will always pick the Electric Orchid color, I've shown you guys my Beats case before that I always wear, but like, this is my color. I love this color. Okay, that is all the knitting talk for today. Let's catch up real quick on life. Like I said, it's been a little bit bonkers balancing being back in school with all the responsibilities I have in my life and not like really giving anything up, just adding like a huge thing in addition. But it's been so good. Like I feel so truly in the right place in every way. I just feel really, really happy. I love my program that I'm in more than I can explain. Like, I've been through a lot of school in my life, I've done a lot of schooling, and I love school. Like, I literally could go to school for almost anything. But this is the first time I'm in school studying and working with material that is so inspiring, and it's just the subjects I'm so passionate about that I'm thinking about and reading about anyway. And like to get to like dive so deep into this material, it's been a dream. Like it's the nerdiest dream you could imagine, but I love it so much. Like studying and writing research papers for hours and hours has just been, it's been like a dream. I love it. It's also been extraordinarily stressful. I think it's an interesting moment of cosmic timing in my life because it's a real confluence of current world events and this master's program. And so I'll be just roiling in my mind about the world and then go to class, and it's everything kind of comes together, which has been really, really incredible because we're getting to be in these groups and share thoughts and ideas and have conversations that are so meaningful and relevant, and it just keeps it from feeling too intellectual and abstract and keeps it like feeling very real world, and that has been amazing. So for all the social workers out there, I know there are many of you. I think it might be some of the best luck of my life to have landed in this profession because it's just so perfect. It's like this melding of the social justice and political world and the individual. And it's just like all my interests. If they could just work yarn into it, if there was like a knitting quarter, knitting therapy. Ooh. Anyway, let's not get too crazy, but it feels like everything I love just meeting together. And so it's been hard and it's been challenging, but in the best way. Speaking of that, before I leave you, because I do need to leave you soon, I wanted to read you something that I read this morning that just felt so perfect. Okay, it's from this book, The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. I've talked about this before. It has a passage for every day, and it's just really, sometimes I get out of the habit. I've gotten out of the habit, but I picked it up today. And this is tomorrow's. It's called Being a Spiritual Warrior. Let me just read you this one couple of sentences. I thought it was so impactful to me. It is true, there is such sadness in the world, but there is a difference between feeling the pain of things breaking, ending, or drifting apart, and the sharper pain that comes from measuring the inevitable events of life against some ideal of how we imagine things are supposed to be. I hope that landed. Where that really hits me is there's so much happening in the world and so much change that is very scary for a lot of us. Not all of us, but some of us, I think, find some of the things that are happening really challenging, really scary. It feels like everything that we knew or understood as how the world works feels like it's coming apart at a pace that is hard to keep up with and process. And before you can process one thing, 10 other things have happened. And it's so challenging. What I take from that passage is we are allowed to be upset and fight back and want change and want to protect the things we care about. However, when you combine that with like this sense of I don't know what exact word, but almost like self-righteousness, like that this isn't how it's supposed to be, that you're just outraged that this isn't how it's supposed to be. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. That resistance creates another layer of turmoil for me. Like the resistance of like, how can this be happening? It's outrage, right? We're outraged whether or not it should be, it be. This is what is happening. And when we can just like lower that one level of resistance, to me, I feel calmer that I'm not resisting what is. And then from that place, I feel less emotionally like frazzled and more able to enter into the fray from like a calm place that is going to be more effective and more long term, and maybe taking a step back and trying to look at things a little from a broader lens. And that always calms me too, when I know these are cycles that happen in the world and we just kind of keep going in this loop, and we have to not give into that loop. We have to continue to fight, but without just that sense of how could this be? I don't know if any of that makes sense, but that is where I am right now. And it's been a very challenging week for me. I've had, like yesterday, I was particularly just outraged, and it's okay to let those emotions come in, but it's like we got to move them through. We got to move them through. We cannot stay in that space, because this situation we're in, the world is just, it's not a transient situation. We are here. So we have to also find a way to continue to live and to be happy and to be present and to love and to do our work and to enjoy our lives. And we got to find that balance, y'all. If you were not interested in anything I said, I hope you turned off the pod before I went into the last 10 minutes. But I did want to share that with you, because we got to take the comfort we can get right now. Okay. I am going to move on with my day. I have a conference with one of my kiddos' teachers for mid-year conferences, and then my daughter and I are going to have a date. She has the day off, like I said. We're going to go to lunch and to the mall and enjoy each other's company. I'm really, really excited about that, because having one-on-one time with one of your kiddos is it's a really nice experience, because so much of the time, and when everybody's together, the dynamic is different than it is when you're one-on-one. Okay. You guys take care of yourselves. I know we are all in a moment, whatever moment that is, there's a lot to process. So take care of yourselves, take the breaks from the world that you need. Don't hesitate to just shut the world out for a weekend and be present with your people and yourselves, and take care of yourselves in that way. I will see you next week, I promise. I will be on it, and I'll show you that bad egg hat after all that talk. And yeah, see you then. Bye.